Oh, hello there, beautiful people. What a normal thing to have happen. The intro music plays, and that means it has got to be go time for Great Night. I'm Brian Brushwood, joined as always by my inimitable co-host, one Justin Robert Young. Justin, perfectly normal episode. It's going to be both long and excellent.
Oh, see, Brian, how awkward.
What do you mean? That's what we always do. We normally do a regular excellent show, but we're trying on a new format
awesome
where we're going to
show.
go long and awesome.
No.
We used to be the mid bros, and now we're going to be long and awesome bros. We said extremes.
Actually, this is really embarrassing. because
Uh-oh.
We're going to go the opposite way.
Wait.
We're going to go short and bad.
Oh, no, well, no. The opposite of
Yes,
mid
yes.
and mid is long and awesome.
Yeah, but we're no negative, though.
What-
So you're thinking that it's good thought, right?
Yeah.
A+ thought, good chain
Yeah.
of reasoning.
Yeah.
What you don't realize is you're heading in the wrong direction.
Okay. Now we
Like,
see.
You're climbing the stairway to heaven, and we're on a highway to hell.
Well,
You know, like this is.
well,
You know,
I don't know what
you're reaching to the sky, but the roots are tangling in our feet, and we're being sucked down into the earthy confines.
Look,
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be short and bad. This is 10% of the show
yeah.
that's already done.
No, that can't be.
So,
Look,
and this sucks. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible improv. And guess what? More of this for another 35 minutes.
Okay, but-
and then it's a hard cut.
see,
Hard cut.
look.
Hard.
I did not walk into this community college to get lectured by a
Yeah.
lecture about why short and bad is the future of podcasting. I came here, I signed up. It says here right on this piece of paper, long and awesome, the Brian Brushwood future story.
Sure.
I want to go from mid to long and awesome. That's the journey I signed up for.
And one day, you may.
But
Tonight, though, Brian,
yeah,
not going to be that night. You're
Wait.
going to have to really go long and awesome next week to average out how short and shitty this episode's going to be.
well, how
So it's like-
short? I mean, how
Yeah.
short could it
We're
possibly
already
be?
20% through the podcast.
Uh, oh.
That's how short.
It's getting shorter and crappier
It's
by the
getting
moment.
even shorter and shittier every second that ticks by, and people are like, fuck it, I'll skip it. Like, right
Okay.
now, a record number of people are like, fuck it, I'll skip it.
Okay.
Like, that's we're seeing. Look, I'm looking at the dailies, and people are fucking it and skipping it fucking already.
No, well,
At
hold on.
record levels. They're skipping it, man. It's out the door. Out the door.
Okay,
man.
look,
It's
look.
done.
I'm
This
sorry.
one stinks.
I don't.
You.
I don't want to make a whole negotiation right here while we're in the middle of doing the show, but I can't yet. I went to a Tony Robbins seminar and he said never. He said never, and I intend to follow that advice.
You broke me.
Well, what do you mean? No, I mean
I agree. No, you mentioned that you met Tony Robbins once, and I was like, I fold. I was gonna come up with an argument, but how could I?
Well,
How could I? You nailed
it. Talk about refusing the call. He said, never you'll take the opening bid. And your opening bid is both short and bad. And I can't give you both. I can give you one or the other. I say
Okay.
we go.
I think we're gonna do short because I have to put my baby to sleep.
Okay.
But we won't make it bad. In fact, Brian,
Yep.
you want to know what? Here's a little secret. I was gonna wait till the end of the show to tell you.
Oh, you mean 3 hours from now?
This is still short. This episode rules already. I'm looking at the dailies right now.
Oh my God.
People aren't fucking it, and they, aren't skipping it.
They're
No.
stopping and watching.
They're committing to it, and they're settling in.
They're putting
They're
rings
settling
on
in.
it.
They're getting their quilts out and they're sitting on them in a field. They're enjoying it. They're carving out time in their day so they can enjoy this podcast.
A beloved institution already. God, I was so worried for a second.
I mean, not but, and it is going to be short.
By the way, Meryl Barr points out that that the looming shadow is the fact that Google Meet is going to tell us to wrap it up in 1 hour.
Good. We're not going to touch that, just so you know. We're
All
not
right.
going to touch that. Brian, I've been solo parenting for
Yeah,
the past 48 hours,
I would imagine it's
48 days,
easy
48
because
months.
well,
I don't know which of those three is real, but they all feel plausible.
so in the video game called Parenting, how much health points do you have in the form of the limited food resources? Like, how many
Oh,
stim
dude.
packs do you have? Are you on Mentats?
So we've been I've been stepping on the product. Wife left a whole gang of breast milk,
Mm-hmm.
and oh crap, I think I forgot that we had frozen ones. Anyway, we've got
Yeah.
3 days left to go, and we have about enough for like a day and a half. So we are
Oh,
we're
so you
stepping-
are
we're-
you're having to cut it with baking
Oh,
soda.
we've been cutting it, dog. Look, I'm like, whatever that a part in season 2 of The Wire where they started stepping on the product so much that they had competition problems.
Yeah.
Like that's me. But instead of crack, it's breast milk, and instead of impoverished Baltimore residents, it's my daughter. Instead of Bubbles, it's Bella.
Instead of Bubbles, it's Bella.
Yeah.
Basically,
Basically, my life is like The Wire, where I'm Prop Joe and Stringer Bell, and I'm stepping on the product so hard.
you've got
that-
elastic product and inelastic demand.
Yeah, that my daughter has not yet noticed. Maybe she does, and she resents me for it silently.
Have you
But so
started
far,
branding?
so-
Have you walk around saying, "Got the
No,
red tops"?
with a hot iron. Why would I? That's cruel.
Okay.
She's not a little calf.
Well, I wouldn't know. I lost my horseman. There's no cattle anywhere. I've been all alone. I only have a
so fast.
what? Horseman Elliot?
Yeah, it's me. I'm here.
I well, no wonder.
who's not?
Well, the horses are well. Where are you?
I'm remote.
I know. That's what. Thanks to our friends over at Google.
I left.
I'm aware. It
Yeah.
was a heartbreaking.
So I was there, Brian.
I know you were.
Brian, you hired me to make sure that 3,000
One
horses
job.
graze the property.
You had one
and
job.
Then I let them all out.
That's
well,
right.
I didn't let them all. God let them out.
Well, they
I
were.
just watched.
Yeah. So
It was my job to stop watching.
was it? I thought your job was to
because my job was to keep them all on property.
right.
Yeah.
And you.
God let them out.
Well, again, okay. Let's invoking supernatural
I was
authority.
looking at the exit,
Yes.
and the horses were walking,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, why?
Okay, but at that moment, couldn't you have intervened and done
How so?
well, for example, you could.
How am I supposed to defy God, Brian?
Well, it was.
How is just a simple man supposed to look into the eyes of his heavenly Father, the Creator, and say, "Fie on you, Lord! I defy you. Return these horses." How am I'm sorry, Brian. I'm a Christian man. I can't defy my Lord and Maker. How am I supposed to defy God?
Well, what was
This is the problem with these atheists, man. Like, the fact that they stopped letting teachers pray in school.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what's led us to this current conundrum.
Well,
Brian,
yeah,
is
you know,
that you're asking me to defy God, and I'm just letting 3,000 horses off your property without lifting a finger.
Okay,
That's the problem.
well,
Do you see the problem?
well, part
Do
of
you see the problem that you're asking me to defy God while I watch 3,000 of your prize horses walk off, never to be seen again, but mostly move to North Carolina, where I'm definitely not visiting them
What-
and talking to you via Google Meet?
what
Do you
confused me.
think we can add God to this Google Meet and say, "Hey, God, fuck you"? Is that what you and your atheist friends would love?
Well, I'm curious. If your general position is to not stand between horses trying to leave properties, how it was you came to apply for the job as horseman.
I'm a horseman, bro.
Okay, that's a bit
It's
like
my creed.
it's a bit like a
It's my
doctor
code.
who's opposed to medicine applying for the job of doctor.
Well, hold on now.
Okay, yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
Look, I can stand a lot of honest japes, but this is a little against the pale. So you're telling me,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. I
riddle
am.
me
I am.
this.
I'm going
Riddle
there.
me this.
It's a bit like
okay?
somebody who's
Hold on,
allergic
hold
to
on.
numeracy.
You talked enough. You talked enough. Okay.
Okay, you're right. All right.
Let me ask you this.
Mm.
So if I were a doctor
Yes.
and God decided to break someone's leg,
Okay.
and I said I can't unbreak this leg because God broke the leg, would that make me a bad doctor?
Well, not that part. Like nobody's asking you to unbreak legs.
Checkmate. Checkmate.
Well, okay, maybe
I'll win.
you know what?
Horseman
Actually,
won.
you're-
Brian nothing.
You know what? You're right.
Actually,
that's on
you're
me.
negative 3,001 if you include the horses.
You know what? You're right. I'm down another horse. Let me try a different example.
Hey, by the way, I need a job.
Okay, well, yeah, well, let's talk
Can I
about
get my
that.
job back? You're gonna get more horses.
Okay, if you were
I
say,
got experience,
it would be like an
and
account.
I'm a Christian.
It
In
would
case you haven't picked up.
Okay, let's say you were an accountant and I needed you to
Yeah.
do my taxes, but you
Okay.
said it was God's will that numbers were evil. That's
All right,
what
but
this
that-
feels
all
like.
right, that metaphor doesn't track.
Why not?
Now let me fix it here. For you.
Okay, all right.
This is another noted skill of the horseman.
Noted skill of the horseman.
Metaphor correction.
Oh, you offer metaphor correction services.
Metaphorical
That
correction.
you
Now,
will
not
stand
a
in the way
correction
of.
that would be metaphorical, but rather I'll fix
But
the
not
metaphors that you're
not
trying to
not
make.
the stopping of my horses from leaving the 7-acre Schwood on the property.
Don't distract from the main point.
Oh,
So
I thought
in
this was okay.
In this, I would be a accountant,
Yes.
and God would decide
Yes.
that all of my actuarial tables would have the numbers run away, and I would just be watching.
Wait a minute. So you're saying
And
you're
I
saying
would
if
know,
I
I would say, "Oh my God," and that's what I would say, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do, and nor would I defy my Lord.
so
Okay?
you're saying
So the numbers would run away, and I'd sit there. Now,
Right.
ask yourself,
Yes.
who would judge me?
as your client, I would probably
Yeah.
judge. Well, actually, it wouldn't even be me. It would be the IRS would be judging the fact that you didn't file and do your job.
Take it up with God in God court.
Okay. I don't know if I can give you the point on this. Not
Take
that
them
you-
up.
you-
Take them up.
Yeah.
All the way up to heaven. That's where God holds court.
God.
God has he had a little setup. It's like a regular court setting, but a little bit more gleaming white. And
little.
He's God's at he's got a bailiff. He's got a court recorder. He's
Yep.
got a stenographer.
Yeah. He's got somebody. He's got like a God Raz.
He's got
Angel
a God
Gabriel.
Raz, and then he walks in and he hears your cases.
Yep.
Well, I think he's hearing your case right now.
Yeah.
Bong, bong, bong. Brian's wrong.
Okay. You
Guilty
can't.
is charged for you.
All right. So it's okay.
The real key here is God
let's.
and the 3,000 horses that I
I
did
know.
not
Okay.
lift a finger
You know
to
what?
stop when
I'm
they
not.
left
Who
the
am I?
property.
Who am I to argue with God?
You're Brian.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
sorry, yeah,
Actually, yeah. No. Fair
I
enough.
jumped the gun.
Okay.
Something that I didn't do when the first horse left.
No, you didn't.
I
You
probably
did not.
should have. In
Right.
hindsight,
Yes.
I feel like we could build a bridge.
I
I'm offering
think
you
so.
a golden
Okay.
bridge here.
So
by
you know what?
saying that
What I'm
I-
hearing.
I should have done something.
What I'm
but I
hearing.
didn't.
Okay. You know what? I'll accept that. But the
Thank
important
you.
thing is, it sounds like you need work. How are
I
you
am looking for work now. I got on Fiverr.
Are you mechanically minded, Horseman
I
Elliot?
could be. Yeah.
You could be.
Well, I mean, I mostly have one skill,
Yeah. Well.
being a horseman.
Okay. But well.
All right.
On that
I
skill,
love it.
probably
If
not
there's
best
one
to put
thing-
that on your
All right,
resume.
my biggest
Who was your
flaw-
previous
My
employer?
biggest flaw is that I love being a horseman too much.
Okay. Let's
That's
say I
my
was going to
biggest-
check your
my biggest-
references. Let's
my
say I was going to
biggest
check your
flaw, yeah.
references and I were to call your previous employer.
Okay,
What
yeah.
might that person say?
You go ahead, pick up the phone, call my previous employer.
Ring, ring. Hey, it's me. I hired him to protect my horses, and then all the horses ran away. And when I
wait,
tried to hold
on.
him,
Hi, I'm Brian.
hey, oh wow. Hi, I'm checking
Yeah,
references.
did you call me? What are you calling me for?
Well, I'm looking at somebody named Horseman Elliott, and
Oh, he's great.
oh, he is.
Loves the Lord.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
okay. Well, the thing is, I used to have a bunch of horses, and I was thinking of hiring them for the job of bringing
Yeah.
the horses to my property.
I got to level with you, Brian.
Yeah.
When it comes to Horseman Elliott, I had 3,000 horses on this property. My pride and joy. I invested all my money into them. I was
Yeah.
going to use them around the world for
It's
various
funny.
different horse purposes, dressage, trips.
Yeah. Running chariots was what I was going to do.
Horse fashion,
Horse.
chariot
Yep.
rides.
Well,
I was going to do it all, and the next thing you know, all 3,000 of them were gone.
Yep.
And at the end of that night, I knew one thing was for sure.
Yep.
You want to know what that is, Brian?
I would love. Well, I suspect I know, but yeah.
It was my fault.
What-
Horseman Elliott is totally innocent, and you should hire him.
I'm
Anyway,
sorry.
I gotta go.
Wait, hold
I
on.
have-
Alternate
I have
reality,
daughters
Brian.
or something. Bye,
No,
click.
okay.
Nailed it.
Horseman Elliott, I must
I'll
admit.
tell you what, this guy will never know what hit him. I just fucking snowed this. I just bushed this man within an inch of his life.
Wait, you
Oh, Horseman Elliott.
you
it
you do
rules.
realize you're saying all that out loud
to who?
to me,
Oh, I
Brian.
thought that was to God.
Well, 6 and 1 1/2 dozen another, am I right?
So I'm hired.
Well,
I'll show up next Monday.
You better bring those horses. I want my horses.
He's rounding them up and going to town. He's stupid and idiotic, and he sounds like Sam Elliott. He's Horseman Elliott.
Oh wait, the volume was down. Oh well, there would have been. Imagine a cool sound effect. Boop. Man,
What
So-
are you up to, man?
Bonnie absconded. She ran off to the desert and meditated. She opened to her.
Oh yeah, you're
third
also
eye.
solo parenting.
Yeah.
with, triple the
Triple.
difficulty,
Yeah, no, it was really
but,
tough. You only
but
got the
also-
one mouth to feed. I have 3. It was a lot
But
harder
also
for
two
me.
out of the 3 are like adults who don't want to see you.
I mean,
So-
actually, 3 out of the 3 were just awesome and well behaved, and we watched White Lotus. It's funny. So, how do you think Penny would think of White Lotus season 1? Do you think she would be a fan? What with all the sexing and the murder?
There's
And,
sex and cursing, which is not her jam, but she's also 2 years into college where, some of those priors can soften a little bit. I think she might be into it because it has the patina of social commentary
Yep.
to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was. First of all, turns out nothing's better than a liberal arts education to get somebody to be chill and experience new types of stories that previously she was very hardened against. So now she's able to approach these things with a little detachment and analyzing it at a storytelling level. And Josie, who we finished all of season 1, and Josie was like, I want to show her season 1 because she knows it's good. And the first opening vignette happens, and the very first joke is you got the character, the exposition meta thing of like, who's this person? And then, turns out to be their parents or whatever. But around the halfway mark, she's like, Dad, is this show nothing but awkward conversations? And I'm like, maybe.
Mhm.
And then it's I don't know, by around episode 3 or 4, Penny's she keeps on getting lulled into thinking that it's not about to say what's that on your shirt, boop, again and again. And so I don't know, she's really digging it. It's great. Awkward conversations, also my 3rd lap on season 1 now.
Have you watched season 3 yet?
No, the plan was to watch season 1 and then get caught up, but then Penny came home, so we had to restart. It's like Groundhog Day, only for watching Steve Zahn, who's great. Steve
Jeez
Zahn's
Louise.
great.
Yeah, looking at his balls or his
balls.
butthole?
Oh, his balls.
His balls, yeah. Man, I can't wait until you watch season 3. Season 3
It is that good.
they had one of the all-time monologues. They literally brought an Academy Award winner in for 2 scenes, one of which he gets a monologue that is an all-timer. He plays against Walton Goggins, and Walton Goggins, who plays a bit of a colorful character himself, literally just looks at him in disbelief as this dude just goes off on a very funny monologue. So I am excited for you to catch up on it. And also Parker Posey is just like amazing in season 2 or season 3 rather.
Speaking of Walton Goggins, that made me think of the fact that that trailer dropped for that Press Your Luck thing, and we got a good reason to pull the ads out of that World's Greatest Con episode. Which man, so for an episode that originally, you know, you take a podcast and you put it in YouTube. YouTube is hungry for rich visuals, and on a podcast, sometimes you run out of rich visuals or you run out of time, so you throw a waveform on there or something. And the first time that we launched the World's Greatest Con episode about let's see, Press Your Luck. There we go, Press Your Luck movie. This one with, here we go. I can press this show content button. There we go. So we're able to take the ads out, and man, this thing really sings with a lot of rich visuals. You make it all the way to minute 8 before you go there we go, before you see a waveform. And by that point, and it's funny because on the metrics, you can actually see where the downward decline stops at the moment the visuals become the waveform, because like at that point, that's the gateway moment where everybody's like, yep, I'm in for the story. And then it's just a flat line all the way across. And the comments have been really, really kind. People were saying, I thought this was just going to be a takedown of that trailer. Instead, I no longer need to see the movie. It's great.
Yeah, and the trailer looks great. I'm excited to see the movie. I love Paul Walter Hauser, who plays the main dude, and then Walton Goggins is the host for it. But yeah, it looks great. So basically, for those of you who don't know, there's a great story about Press Your Luck where a guy in the mysterious realm of the trailer, the guy just keeps winning and nobody knows. And so best we can tell based on the trailer, it is a pretty tight 2-hour thriller of how is this guy winning so much, which is great. That's a great way to tell that story, because there is, if you only focus on that, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. The resolution is interesting and fun if you don't know the story itself. So I think the movie's going to be great. The talent certainly is there, and you have the ability to write a really good script. And there's a lot more to that dude's story. Like there's another part of his story that is kind of well known, and then there's a part of the story that, as far as we know, we were the first people to connect the dots on.
Yeah. Those are the stories on World's Greatest Con that we're most proud of, is when we discover that we're able to tell a version of the story that is authentic and true, but speaks to an aspect that ain't nobody touched before.
Yeah. And that was So what is it called?
It's called What the Press Your Luck Movie Will Get Wrong. And I don't think that's a clickbait title, because I think that everything we're seeing, I mean, you know, I'll amend it if it turns out that I have to eat humble pie on that. But I'm certain that it will miss the fact that like a core thesis that we have is that this is not a cute tale of a scoundrel who sticks it to the man. This is the story of tragic addiction run amok, and somebody who couldn't stop chasing that high of pulling a fast one on the man. And ultimately, there's a reason we call that episode The Addiction, and it's because quite literally we make the case that this dude, well, it's showing me now, but this dude ended up running himself to death trying to chase the high of that one Press Your Luck moment.
It's great. That episode that we did, I think, is phenomenal. And shout out to everybody who worked on the video version, because it looks phenomenal. It looks great.
Yeah, there were some comments that wanted to come at us on the single day winnings, pointing out like, I'm pretty sure people on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire won more in one day. And it's like, no, that was a multi-day shoot. It's literally pound for pound, adjusted for inflation, the biggest winning in all of history, which is why this movie's going to be dope, but also missed the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I almost would feel, and this is one of our classic bits that we did on an old album, but like in a world where people do less books, this is kind of a like, watch the movie and then
listen to our story. Yeah,
because it's going to be a bigger version of it, right? If you watch our stuff and then watch the movie, you'll be like, oh, this is a shorter thing, which watch our stuff no matter what, listen to our stuff no matter what. But I do think that it's not necessarily, I hope that it's like Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like Jurassic Park, the movie rules. It's also not Jurassic Park, the book. There was a lot of really cool stuff that they cut out to make it a tight narrative. And then weirdly put back in Jurassic Park 3, but that's a different story. But yeah, this is definitely, it's just a bigger version of it. And yeah, I don't know. IFC, get in touch with us. Let's get Walton Goggins.
You know what?
And,
actually,
and Paul Walter Hauser on the show.
We're kind of batting a gajillion because every time we do a World's Greatest Con, it seems like eventually they come to us for movies. Where they don't come. Well, actually, in the case of season 1, I guess we could tell. I don't think we've talked too much publicly about how scared we were, but we, in the world of podcasting, we've always couched World's Greatest Con as kind of campfire tales with Brian. Yeah. Brian describes the story as he understands it. And in the world of podcasting, you usually don't have to pay for story rights for anything. And, we are towing the lines between journalism and do a lot of fair use stuff.
Storytelling.
Yeah, exactly.
We're informed storytelling. I wouldn't say that we were journalism per se.
Exactly. And now, having said that, we released World's Greatest Con, whole season 1 about Operation Mincemeat. And it's like, yeah, pretty sure this is all kosher or whatever. And then meanwhile, in the background, headline: Netflix acquires exclusive rights to the story of Operation Mincemeat. It's going to be a movie, a Netflix original. I'm like, okay. And it's like, for an undisclosed amount of money, some dollars, is this thing. It's like, cool. And then we get to the part where, we release our story. It's very well received. We're both very, very proud of it. If you ain't listened to it, go listen to World's Greatest Con. Go to worldsgreatestcon.com. Go start with episode 1. And then one day, get the email, and it says something at netflix.com. And it's like, uh-oh, here we go. And sure enough, it's like, hey, we saw your podcast, World's Greatest Con. And I'm like, okay, can we talk? Yes. And they're like, listen, about your podcast, World's Greatest Con. I'm like, yeah. Well, as you know, we have an original movie, a Netflix original movie, World's Greatest Con. I'm like, Operation Mincemeat. I'm like, okay, here we go. And they're like, we were wondering, would you mind interviewing Academy Award winning director of Operation Mincemeat?
John Madden?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I think we can make this happen. So, same thing. Hollywood, call us. Season 3 is really good. Just let us be in on it from the get-go.
Yeah, come on. We'd love to talk to people. I love everybody involved in that project. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, big finish.
Finish.
Yeah.
I was thinking
short and good.
Scandinavian.
So keep it good.
Okay. All right. Big finish.
Patreon.com/Great Night, by the way. We'll be doing a Bones.
You stole it. Yep.
We're going to be doing a Bones.
Yep.
We're going to be doing a Bones.
Yep.
Brian's going to come here. He's going to sit on my set. There we go. He's going to sit right there.
Yeah.
And he's going to be on the Bones.
It's true.
And that's going to be a great time.
That is. And it'll be a longer time because this one, short and good. Good. That's compromise.
I can definitely hear my daughter slowly start to unravel.
Now I get it. Okay. You know what? Everybody enjoy
Big
this
finish,
very...
big finish, big finish.
Okay,
No, come on, big finish.
Okay,
Let's
all right,
go,
all right, all
let's
right.
go.
Oh my God! Just before Bonnie left, I went up to. I was making Penny's room because Penny's coming home from college, right? And she had a laptop that she forgot and left over there. And so I'm like, well, I'm cleaning everything up. You know, maybe I'll defrag her hard drive. And so I open up Penny's laptop. Turns out it was still asleep, and so it didn't need a password, and it was over there. And when I opened it, Penny's a good girl, but she's an adult girl who makes her own choices. What do I see? It's hardcore S&M pornography. And even though she's an adult, I'm like, what are we gonna do about this? And I'm like, Bonnie, get up here. Look at this. It's hardcore S&M pornography on our daughter's laptop. And she's like, well, what are we gonna do? And I say, well, we can't spank her because she's an adult woman.
I asked for a big finish and I got it. Hit the music. Hit the music, Jack.
Bye, guys. Short and good.